Hi there, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au, and this is my monthly update for July 2026. The monthly update it's a halfway through the month sort of snapshot on what's been going on energetically, spiritually, so as to help you through any bumps that you're experiencing at this time. This monthly update, what I'd like to focus in on again is the year's chart, the birth number 2026, which goes through 10-1, and also 95-5. But more specifically, I want to highlight how this month's numerology combines with that, the year's chart, to produce a specific MO of 109, which goes through 10 on its way to 1 as well. So we have two 10-1s featuring right now. And if you've been feeling sort of abandoned, sort of alone, sort of isolated, sort of, hello, nobody gets me, and do I actually belong in this world anymore? Congratulations, you're not alone. The energies, the dynamics, they're quite loud on these points right now. This video isn't about repeating more recent videos. In June's monthly update, but also in this month's monthly observations, which you will find on YouTube right along this one, I think, but also on the website, in the monthly observations page. Those videos talked about this year's chart as well, the 10-1 and the 95-5. This is not a repetition on that. What I want to do today is to highlight the fact that in some models of spirituality, every being has two levels of self within it, if that's the way to say it. So what do I mean by that? Some models of spirituality don't just identify an individual as being a singular I. Instead, they acknowledge the fact that there are very definitely in reality, in creation, what could be called egoic level vibes, as well as spiritual or soul level vibes. And every human being comes with both of those levels of soul. In a way that no matter how spiritual they are, no matter how developed or evolved they are, they still have these dynamics that they're going to be bumping into and having to learn about and hopefully mentor and master as they step day by day. Egoic self could be called child, and I don't mean that as a negative label. Egoic self, yes, all right, it can come up with some pretty interesting, shall we say, offerings, but it's not in itself, or it doesn't need to be seen as a negative energy. It is the energy that limits. It is the energy that offers and creates limit, however it does. It creates limit, it creates negativity, it creates exclusive thinking, exclusive perspectives, Spiritual soul is inclusive. You with me? Spiritual self is grounded. It's present. Egoic self is not. Egoic self is too much in the past, too much in the present, probably all over the place. And if you're anything like this year, maybe you've been experiencing that as well. This year in part is here to do that because of its chart 10-1, because 2026 goes through 10 on its way to 1, because this month has that MO of 109-10-1. These aspects could be louder. And why I'm raising this again in this video is the fact that only negativity, or bear with me, negativity, pessimism, exclusive behavior, thinking, only surface, only manifest when egoic self is driving the bus called I too much. We will never kill egoic self off. We can only mentor it to drop its perspectives and behaviors and come and join the spiritual realm a little bit more. Even having done that, the next moment in life is going to present us with a new opportunity to learn about egoic self from another angle and come more into completeness and consciousness as spiritual adult. Now, 10.1 isn't just egoic self versus spiritual self, it's also child versus adult. It is only egoic self that goes into negativity. I've already said that. It is only egoic self that becomes unpresent. Why? Because it's surrounded by life. Why? Because it gets distracted. Why? Because there's so many things to do, so many things to get on with, so many things to achieve. Yeah, all of these things see us moving more and more into mind in a way that if we don't take the time to balance out from that, we can be in mind and therefore pulled into egoic vibes far too much. And that's when things start to become good versus bad, black versus white, no grey in between, no big picture. It's only the world is thus, and this is all there is. In a sense, on a physical level, we could argue that, but on a spiritual level, that part of us that can haunt us, that can invite us to stretch into more, to know there's more, to actually honour those sensations and get on and live those realities. Spiritual self is always connected to the bigger picture. And this is where the dance becomes interesting, because for every human being, especially in moments like this, every human being is dared to become aware, to be conscious of, again, what level of self is driving the bus right now, and therefore what level of self is colouring the narrative that you are sitting in, that you're pumping out there, and or you're even listening to and becoming engulfed by. This is an interesting dance, isn't it? Because on a daily level, especially if you're living in a more urban or built Western environment, you're going to be bombarded by all sorts of things. Bombardment doesn't necessarily mean it's all negative, has no value. It just means, again, spiritual levels are quietness. Spiritual levels are released from all noise. It is only when we become too embroiled in energetic noise, which invariably stems from verbal, audio, mental noise. It's only in those moments that we start to find ourselves plummeting downwards into egoic, depressive, more victim-like, less empowered states. So in one sense, this month is presenting to dare people to become more conscious of that, or more importantly, to remember that and do something with it. It's so easy to get stuck in a 10-1 year. Why? Because 10-1 is very much a passive number. Whilst this year carries with it a 95-5 MO, so fives are there, a lot of its dynamics are passive, which means that this is a year that is more about reflection, review, research, organising, planning, brainstorming, realising. All of those states, all of those practices are invaluable, but they're not necessarily a time, they don't necessarily represent a time that is about just get on and do things. And so to the degree that this year's seen you feeling as if, you know what, I just can't move forward as much as I usually do. I'm stuck. I can't get out of the negativity, or I can't stay in light energies enough to actually move the ball in all the ways I usually can, or I used to be able to. Congratulations, you're not alone. That's part of this year's chart. Why I'm highlighting this is because 10-1 and therefore 1, right? Zero, the zero amplifies the one's sense of isolation, or exclusion, It can amplify the sense of, where's life gone? I'm not supported as I used to be. It's only egoic self that affirms those things. And egoic self only does that because it can't see round corners. If it could see round corners, it wouldn't be worrying. But because it can't see round corners, and because it's currently stuck in or bombarded by noise or down or limit in one sense or another, it starts to make conclusions. And that's why egoic self is so linked to mind as a downward force. Because when that starts to manifest, all of a sudden our narrative can only go down, because negative nothing is all we can see. It's all we can sense. There is not that sense that we had before, that life surrounds me. I am guided. You with me? Source is there. And not only that, I'm connected to the big picture intuitively on a sensational level that says, you know what? In spite of everything that's happening right now, I'm going the right way. I've got a sense of that. I know that source is with me. I can feel it. All is going to be well. So this year is in one sense a year that you want to say, or bear with me, I want to say, it sort of wants us to be mithering or fretting or worrying or getting down. Why? Not because that's the end state it wants us to be in, yeah? But it's often only through the extreme egoic dynamic that we're experiencing that we actually get to a level of, I've had it with this, I've got to move on from this, I've got to move out of this, I've got to shift this, yeah? It's only by the extremeness that self, divine self, but also human self, is led to the point where it actually does something with it. The other aspect of 10-1 is, of course, again, the pendulum swing from child to adult, and therefore it can be interpreted as, are you taking responsibility for your journey? Yeah. Are you taking responsibility for where you're at, especially if it's feeling down or negative? What are you doing with it? Are you just sitting in it, or are you actually pushing back at it? Not because you need to push. Yeah. At the end of the day, we only lose the bombardment or the overwhelm in egoic self or in egoic dynamics by creating the space to let silence in again, to let the big picture in, yeah, and therefore to let divine guidance in, or more importantly, source, whatever your name is for, highest power. Yeah, by letting go of everything around you energetically. Letting go doesn't necessarily have to mean reject, or it shouldn't mean reject at all. Letting go can just be letting go. But letting go is about let go of the world around you for a minute, to release all the noise, to release all the go, 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 the buzzing. Yeah, all of those dynamics that can just keep pushing, pulling. By doing that, by choosing to make space to let go through breath, through silence, through downtime, through space. Yeah. By doing these things, we give ourselves the chance to reconnect with divine energies above. So when you're doing this, let go of the world around you, all of it, not because you reject it, not because you don't want it, but just because, you know what, guys, I need to clear. Because as you do that, the minute you start to create space for divine energies, yeah, whether you call them divine or whether you just call it goodness, whether you just call it spiritual insight, yeah, whether you call it guidance that knows the biggest picture of all, make space for that, because the minute you release everything to create space in a way that you're knowing that that's what you want next, divine guidance will just start to come in. Now, whether that's a feeling, whether that's a visual, whether that's a thought, yeah, however it comes, a smell or a taste even. But 10-1 is asking people to make the choice to connect again, so as to get out of the noise, to release all the tensions, the confusion, the fogs, the mysteries, yeah, the head stuff. It's asking us to do that on a regular basis so as to reconnect with our sense of, this is what I'm here for. This is where I'm at. This is how I'm going. This is what I need to do next. The minute we connect with those energies in a way that we allow them to just drop in, we don't need to project. We don't need to instruct them. We just need to allow them to exist and give them the room to help us. The minute you do that in a way that isn't efforting, it's deciding and it's choosing and it's breathing to help it be. The minute you do that, all of a sudden the sensations come in a way that is about, hello, I am going the right way. And if I'm not, this is what I need to come back on course. But more importantly, I am guided. I can sense it. I can feel it. And I got a sense of where the big picture wants me to be stepping right now. So hopefully this helps you use breath, use time out, exercise, Yeah. Meditate, yes. Energy work, yes. But don't pump it. Don't project it. Don't push it. Don't will it. Doing those things is just playing into egoic and mind realm even more and complicating life for everyone. Let go. Let the divine be knowing. Let that knowing into your world. The minute it knows that you know it's real, it goes high. All the very best to you. Give us a yell if you need a hand. Travel well. Take good care. Thank you very much for tuning in.